This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Welcome to Cruise Control Radio. Hello, everyone. It's that time again. We're firing up the 3.5-cylinder engine in the van, and, well, it's just not going anywhere. But that doesn't matter, Les, because we are here with a whole lot of information on what's going on in the automotive industry. And there is a lot going on this week, and we're going to tell you about it. We're going to start this hour with a story when Stellaris, remember, that is the name of the new Chrysler Peugeot tie-up. When they take over Chrysler and Peugeot, which models and which brands won't make the cut?
That's going to be very interesting. By the way, since the van isn't going anywhere, I've fitted a blade on it, and I'm using it to mow the lawns.
Excellent. That must look beautiful.
You know, I'm just trying to keep it running. But anyway, who says you have to spend $35,000 on a new car? Well, we have details on inexpensive wheels, and there are quite a few of them.
Yeah, and one of them is from a manufacturer you know, and one is from one, well, no one knows. We'll tell you about that. And, you know, we always like to talk tech. I know you like to talk tech.
Yes, indeed.
How about illuminated seatbelts? I think this is a pretty cool idea, because if you've ever tried to find your seatbelt, sometimes it's hard to do.
It's that latch that you can never find.
It's underneath the seat. It sinks underneath the seat. And
that's right. That's what my passengers always complain about. Anyway, you want to build your own demon?
Sure.
Well,
let's do it now.
It's going to cost money, though. Anyway, the answer might be a HellCrate Crate Engine. Yes.
Yeah.
They're selling those babies.
One of the many things that were released this week, there was a SEMA 360 going on. Normally, we'd be out in Las Vegas checking out all the hot rod parts, but not so much this year. It was all online. And you've got something pretty interesting coming up, Les.
I do. I'm reviewing at the wheel the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, which is a really interesting car.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to drive that a couple of months ago, and I found it pretty interesting. The whole roof was a solar cell.
Big solar cell.
Which I thought looked pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's not like it's running the car, but it charges the 12-volt battery, and it's very useful. And why not use it?
Yep, all that and a whole lot more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control Radio. That's the show you're dialed into. Don't forget to check out our website, cruisecontrolradio.com. You can link over to our Facebook page. You can link over to our Twitter feed, Instagram, and more. For Cruise Control, I'm Fred Staab. Stay tuned. We are getting started. Les Jackson is starting up the lawnmower. Excellent. We'll be right back after this. Listen to the live feed of Cruise Control Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com to find out how to do it. Is your car starting to show its age? Over time, paint becomes oxidized, faded, and scratched. But you can restore that tired paint and repair those scratches with the paint restoration system from 3M. It's an affordable way to make those repairs in your garage in just one afternoon with basic tools. The kit contains all of the restoration products and polishing pads you need to bring your vehicle's paint back to like-new condition. For more information, visit www.3mcarcare.com.
Cruise Control.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Les and Fred at our desks. The Cruise Control van is currently being used as a lawnmower. But that's okay. We have lots of stories, and the first one is about our friends at PSA, which, of course, is Chrysler and all those people, which has now becoming Stellartis, which I'm not
Atlantis.
happy about that name because it sounds too much like one of the drugs you see advertised on TV.
Yeah, Stellantis, actually, less
Stellantis.
like
Sorry. Yes.
Atlantis, but with a Stell in front of it.
Again, it's an awkward name.
Yeah, it is.
But
It is an awkward name, and it, like you say, it sounds like you should hear that disclaimer, like, if you take Stellantis, you
That's
should be
right.
wary of such and such, you know?
consult your doctor.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, over in the Chinese market, the PSA sales are down,
Mm-hmm.
way down.
Okay.
And even Jeep, which I never thought it would be down, is down 36% over there. So anyway, this affects what they're going to be making.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to get rid of the Jeep brand.
Oh, no. No.
That's going strong. But what brands will they get rid of in their portfolio? This article, which is from Automotive News in Europe, was saying that probably anything with the Chrysler name will go on. And what do we have left with the Chrysler name? The Chrysler 300, which got some mild updates.
That's about it.
And then the Pacifica, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. But they could easily change that to another brand.
I would think that they probably get rid of the Chrysler 300 and would...
it's not selling very much.
And they would probably just... The Pacifica would become the Stellantis Pacifica.
Yes.
Although they say that name will not be on cars, but we'll have to see about that. I don't know.
Well, they'll have Peugeot and Citroën.
Yeah.
Ram, Jeep. They in the world they have 13 different brands. I don't know what those other names are.
Mm-hmm.
And not that it matters because we're concerned with what's selling here. But I think you're right. I think it's just the Pacifica. I wouldn't be surprised if it just went to the Jeep name.
Really? A Jeep, a trail-rated minivan? I don't know.
Well, you have the Grand Cherokee, and you have the.
I think.
What about Fiat?
I think it would be a Dodge. I think the Fiat brand could be in trouble.
I think so too.
At least
it's
here.
Not selling.
Yeah.
It's a fun brand.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't bring over the Fiat 500e, the new version of it, because I think it would be a great way to say, hey, we've got a fun, stylish little electric car that won't break the bank. But they're not bringing any more Fiat 500s over. That's going away. I mean, they're really carving back what's left of the Fiat brand in this country and not bringing much in. So I wonder about Fiat. I mean, I know it's huge in Europe. Perhaps we'll just see it trimmed in the U.S. completely.
Well, I would hate to see the 124 go.
Yeah, I mean, the 124, you rarely see them. I saw one the other day, but you rarely see them. To me, that looks better than the MX-5, just the style.
I agree. I think it's really a cute car.
Yeah, but we'll have to see what happens.
It won't be good.
Well, certainly they're not going to cut out like Dodge Chargers or Challengers. Those are selling well. No. Any muscle vehicle is selling well. They're not going to cut Ram for sure. That's doing well.
That's killing the industry.
So you think about it, those two cars, the Charger and the Challenger, are safe. Probably the 300 goes away. That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. The Chrysler, the Pacifica becomes something different brand. But
do you think Fiat will go away completely?
No, just in the U.S. I think it will go away in the U.S.
That affects a bunch of dealers.
I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. Mm. So, well, we'll have to see. Do you think Alpha makes the cut? They're doing a little bit better, aren't they, in the U.S.?
They are doing, they're doing okay in the expensive luxury class.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how it all shakes out, but probably means fewer models in other markets. And that's our take on Stellantis coming up next year. All right, when we come back, we'll tell you about buying a car for less than $35,000. Yes, it can be done on Cruise Control. For the latest updates on Cruise Control, follow us on Twitter at Cruise Control Rad. That's CruiseControlRad. Cruise Control Rad.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. You know, the average price for a new vehicle, Les Jackson, is $35,000. $35,000.
That's just it's a big number.
Don't you remember not that long ago that was entry-level luxury? That's like if you wanted to buy a CTS Cadillac or maybe a lower-end Lexus.
Lexus 230.
Yeah, you would. That would be the entry-level luxury price, and we all were like, "Oh, that's high." Now that is the entry-level price, but you don't have to spend that to get a good car, and we're here to tell you about that. And this week, Nissan released the pricing on its Versa. You and I have driven that. That's an amazing car for the price, isn't it?
Well, it really is. Now, we will have to be fair that a lot of people will say, well, yeah, it's a nice car, but it's really small.
It is, but it comes with a lot of the updated safety features. It comes with a lot of the, the infotainment situation if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So what it starts at, the Versa S, they all, by the way, get a 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine, 122 horsepower. Okay, I know it's not a lot of horsepower, but it's sufficient. They all get that, but the Versa S starts at $14,930, and then they work their way up to $18,340. That's for the Versa SR 1.6 Xtronic. And of course, that S for $14,930 has a 5-speed manual transmission. Remember those?
So you need an instruction manual.
It's like got those 3 pedals you have to work.
That's right. That's not the second brake.
They get 40 miles to the gallon, 32 city, 40 miles to the gallon, 35 combined. And you and I have driven this. I mean, I remember the one I drove was certainly well under $20,000. And I thought, well, this isn't bad. It's got air conditioning. It's got power windows and locks. It's got the up-to-date safety equipment. And it also had Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. And it was decent. I'm not saying it is the be-all, end-all of cars, but for the price, a new car with a warranty, and you can get the available Nissan Safety Shield 360 system, which includes the automatic braking, the rear automatic braking, lane departure, high beam assist, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert. You can get that well under $20,000. And that's not bad. It's a great first car. Wouldn't it be a great first car?
Well, it would be unless you're looking for something even cheaper.
Yes, and now this next one is a lot cheaper. I had to resist. I almost wrote in the open, I want candy. But
yes,
like the song, but I didn't want to do that. Candy, KNDI. It's an EV from China, and it's going to be sold under the Candy America name. There's two models, a K27 and a K23. One of them looks a little bit newer than the other one, I'll say, style-wise.
Yeah, we're looking at pictures of them. The blue one looks old.
It looks old. Yeah.
Yeah. Oldish.
Oldish. Yeah. And then the other one looks a little bit newer. I would say they're a little bit bigger than the Smart Car. They have 4 doors.
Yeah.
One's a little bit more modern than the other. But here's the deal. These could eventually, they have just been approved by the EPA for U.S. roads. And they received the required clearance from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency via what they call certificates of conformity. With that, the final approval on the federal level and previous ones for CARB, California Air Resources Board, they're ready to start sales, this Chinese manufacturer, which will test the interest in entry-level EVs, according to Johnny Tai, CEO of Candy America. So the 27, which I'm assuming is the older-looking one, is $20,499. And if you're one of the first 1,000 buyers, Les Jackson, you get it for $17,499. You get a federal tax credit of $7,500. You know that since it's a new brand, it's available to anyone that buys it, pretty much.
That's right.
So that could take it down to $9,999.
Okay.
And then the K23, which I'm assuming is the newer one.
The spiffy new one.
Yeah, that starts at $29,999, $27,499 for the first 1,000 buyers, with a federal tax credit of $7,500. That would bring it down to $19,999. But if you're in Colorado, for example, and you get that K27, the less expensive one, they also have a $4,000 state credit, which would bring it down to $5,999. Can I get your business today? Les Jackson.
Now, here's the thing. Would you buy this?
I know nothing about it.
Forgetting about the looks.
If you said it's this or walking, I don't know. I mean, does it have all the safety gear? They haven't been crash tested.
Where does the engine come from?
The
Chinese-built engines are not known to be
they're
highly
electric.
reliable.
They're all electric, so the motor you're talking about.
Okay.
But what's the range? I don't know. Will the battery catch fire? I hope not.
Well, remember, an awful lot of batteries and certainly electric motors come from China.
That's true. Now, what comes with these things? I guess you get a seat and a horn and headlights.
Yeah. Floors.
Floors. KNDI America is the name of this, and the cars are the
we're going to have to pull up a press release on these, and
I would like to drive
what the interior
one.
Looks.
I really
I would too.
I don't know if I'd buy one, but I'd like to drive one. I'm wondering if you sit inside, does it have that awful chemical smell or something?
Well, that's certainly something to think about. The other thing that I keep thinking about while we're doing this whole story is looking back at Yugos.
Yeah, remember that?
It seemed like a great idea, but it was a huge bust.
Yeah, it seemed like a great idea. I remember during one of the wars, the Yugo plant got bombed, and people actually talked about it and said, well, no one was hurt, but now they can't build Yugos. Oh, well.
That's right.
So I don't know. Will we see more brands like this? Will people, I think people will bring them to market, but will people buy them?
I believe people on the coasts will buy them. I don't see anybody in mid-America buying these. There's a tremendous buy American philosophy, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But in the middle states, I just think it's going to only appeal to urban, coastal
Well,
customers.
the other problem is too, when you're buying something like this, who fixes it? Are there any dealers? Okay, let's
Wow.
say all of a sudden it won't charge. What happens? Do they just give you another car?
That's right. Well,
It's like Amazon, you just get something else, they'll give you another one.
I would imagine initially the dealerships would be boy oh boy, like 3 or 4 on the West Coast, 3 or 4 on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Uh, it could be very inconvenient.
But on the other hand, if you were in a golf cart community, this is about the price of a golf cart.
Yeah.
So that smaller little one, older looking one, you could drive it around like a golf cart, and you have you have an enclosed vehicle to drive around. It wouldn't be that bad for that.
Well, you're right. And you could take it on the roads.
You could take it on the road, so you could use it as a light duty second car. It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see if this takes off. Like I said, I would definitely try it. I'm not sure I would buy it. But when we come back, we're going to talk tech, illuminated seatbelts, and something completely different. Maybe you can drop it in one of these candy cars, Les. A HellCrate Crate Engine. Stay tuned to Cruise Control Radio. We'll be right back. Cruise Control Radio goes live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. To listen, click the link on our homepage. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred, we are rolling through stories. We're finding kind of offbeat stories this week.
Yeah.
But everybody out there listening who has ever had trouble finding the latch to your seatbelt, raise your hand. Well, that's everybody.
I've got my hand raised.
That's everyone in the country, including us.
Yeah, you're wearing a big coat.
I can't tell you how often my wife gets in the car with me or other friends. Where's the seatbelt latch? I can't find it.
Yeah, you're because
they're buried.
They're buried
on the sides of the seats.
Yeah.
So Skoda, which is a Czech automotive company, they've never sold Skoda here.
They're part of Volkswagen, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But they've never sold the Skoda brand here. They have been imported back in the 60s and 70s. I remember seeing a couple.
They're all around Europe, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So they've come up with an illuminated seatbelt.
I like it.
It only took to 2021, 125 years of the auto industry before somebody said, hey, let's put a light in that.
Yeah. It was tweeted by Skoda UK Media. The idea is an illuminated seatbelt that makes it easier to find when visibility is low. And I think this is great. I think it is, you could have it flash if you start to drive off without the seatbelt on. I find sometimes they're hard to find or they're buried down deep. As you said, a lot of them are orange, which is great during the day, but it doesn't help at all at night.
At night, orange is black.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this is a great idea, and I think they should do it. I really think they should do it. And there are LED lights. It makes it easy to find at night, and it glows either white or red, depending on whether someone is in the seat or not. So
wow, yeah. Now this is really, this seems trivial, but it's not. It's an important little. Why didn't they think of that feature?
They haven't. Seatbelts, by the way, haven't really changed since the mid 19th century.
Amazing.
They do have load limiters and pre-tensioners. Don't you hate that in certain cars? Cadillac does that. You take off, and all of a sudden the seatbelt retractor goes and pulls you back in the seat. If you've never experienced that, it is weird. It's like someone throwing a lasso around you, isn't it?
It is. It's kind of well, again, if you're not expecting it, it's a bit of a surprise.
Well,
but otherwise, you feel reassured.
Yeah, although I have to say, my wife and I drove off in one of the press cars, and it did it at the same time, and we were both like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Now, I do take exception with the claim that seatbelts haven't evolved dramatically.
Okay.
There was one period, we'll refer to it as the dark time, when seatbelts were built onto the doors.
Oh, that was
the running track. That was really a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was definitely it. First of all, prone to failure.
Yes.
You have all this motor and mechanism in the door, which you're constantly slamming. People would disconnect them, I remember.
Right.
And the idea was that you didn't need the safety disconnect if you had this, that it was, it was a passive seatbelt. This was before airbags.
That's right. This is in the mid 70s. And there was the seatbelt usage around the country was only 13%.
Yeah, there were no laws.
And the safety agencies said, we really need to, we can't force people to wear them, but we could certainly make it automatic.
It's sort of.
And they did, and they looked terrible, terrible.
They looked terrible. They were clunky.
They were noisy.
Do you remember when shoulder belts came out? They were initially up in the headliner with behind clips. And I swear, probably people never took them down the whole length of the car. They were up in the roof on the side of the headliner in clips, and then you had another buckle, and you were supposed to bring that down. And I guess there was an adjuster on it or something. And
that's right. That were two buckles.
Two buckles. Yeah, they couldn't get people to put one buckle on. They're not going to put two on. So they have gotten better. Then now it's just one quick motion.
They did evolve, but in the wrong direction. But they have said, all kidding aside, seatbelts have saved about 10 times more lives than every other safety device combined.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But back to our talking tech, I like the idea of the lighted seat buckle.
Love it.
You can do it with an LED. They have power going to them anyway to sense.
They do.
So I don't see it as a big lift, other than it's a simple way to make cars safer, make them more convenient. I always look for my seatbelt, but you don't want to be struggling with it.
Well, I always feel for it.
Yeah.
Because at night I can't see it.
Well, I was in a Genesis, I believe it was Genesis, maybe it was Mercedes, where they present to you. In other words, they're tucked behind the seat, but when you get in and sit down, a motor drives them forward so you can get to it. And I thought, this is great, but man, the level of sophistication needed to make this happen.
That's right.
You got to laugh at that. I think the light might be a less expensive solution and a good one. So, hey, Les, you and I love the BRZ from Subaru.
You do?
And, of course, it is known as, over at Toyota, the 86. I believe, if I'm not wrong, it has the Toyota body, but the Subaru powertrain, all of them. It was a joint.
Yeah, that's right.
Joint thing. We always thought this was a cool first car, but then it's us. But we like the fact that it's rear drive, it's 2-seat, it's very sporty.
Cheap,
fun, great. It would be great to autocross. It'd be great to just have it on the street, customize it. And there was some talk that there wouldn't be a next generation of this, but now it looks like the all-new BRZ will arrive as a 2022 model, and there's a lot of excitement about it, that it could debut before Thanksgiving of this year, and the world premiere could just be a few weeks away. It looks drastically different than the model it replaces. Headlight design is completely different shape. The hood is more sculpted. And there's some talk that the BRZ will get the new 2.4-liter naturally aspirated Boxer 4, producing 217 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque. Some are saying, where's the turbocharger? I bet there are people building kits to turbo this new Subaru BRZ before it is even out, because that seems like a natural for a power adder, doesn't it?
Oh, sure.
And you can be conservative, take it up to 300 horsepower, but
it would have to be a small supercharger.
A turbocharger.
Well, that's still a supercharger.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you could, who knows? Maybe you could even do one of those kits where it's in the back.
You could, but it would make it just a real sporty, not a drag racer, but certainly quite decent quickness, I guess, would be. Is it probably 0 to 60 in 6 seconds?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it would be pretty cool. But maybe if you want a little something more, how about dropping a HellCrate engine into it? Yes, that's right. You can get the engine from the Demon, and it's intended for vehicles for pre-1976 street and off-road vehicles. Puts out 807 horsepower, 717 pound-foot of torque. It's got a 2.7-liter supercharger, so it's bigger than the bigger engine that will go in the BRZ, just a supercharger. Yep. And it can blow 14.5 pounds of boost at 6,500 RPM redline. That's pretty cool. What about that?
Yeah, and it's, and they're plug and play for the most part.
Yeah.
As one who has stuffed different engines into cars many times, it is not a simple thing to do.
We'll talk more about the HellCrate, and Les will have an at-the-wheel review of the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. All that and more coming up on Cruise Control Radio. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. Check us out, cruisecontrolradio.com. Like us on Facebook, and more. We'll be right back. Cruise Control Radio goes live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. To listen, click the link on our homepage. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com. Feeling a little dim? Don't blame your brain or the weather. Hazy headlights may be the problem. Hazed or cloudy plastic headlights can reduce your vehicle's visibility on the road, making it very difficult to see the road and for other cars to see you. Now you can restore plastic headlight lenses to like-new clarity with the Lens Renewal Kit from 3M, an easy-to-use solution for removing the yellowing and hazing that reduces headlight performance and visibility. For more information, visit www.3mcarcare.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control Radio. We're just talking about cool engines you can stuff in your hot rod project. A lot of this came from SEMA 360. Of course, normally we'd be out at Las Vegas and checking out the latest hot rod stuff. Can't do that this year. They had it online, SEMA 360. One of the things that came out was the new lineup of crate engines from the folks over at Mopar, starting with a 375 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque, injected Hemi for 6,500. You move up to 485, 475 on the torque, 10,000 for 6.4-liter crate Hemi, and then 707 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque for 20,000. And then
that's 20 grand.
Yeah, but
a lot of money.
But you don't have to do any. I mean, you don't have to do anything as far as tuning on that 707 horsepower. is plenty enough, don't you think?
It's plenty.
Yeah.
You're going to incur some other expense like a transmission and a rear end and
And
an exhaust system
legal fees too.
and legal fees.
And then if I know this is the one you would go for, Les, the 426 supercharged crate Hemi, 1,000 horsepower, 950 pound-feet of torque for $29,995, about the price of a new car. Just that
Yeah.
engine sitting there on the end of a chain. There you go.
You know, I'll bet you people with Vipers are going to be putting those engines in them.
That is a crazy idea. That's cool.
If you think about the Viper, there's lots of room for the engine, and it's obsolete. That V10 is just that's a grandfather clock.
Excellent. Well, why don't we have you do an at-the-wheel review of the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid? This is a vehicle I drove a couple of months ago in review. I'm anxious to hear your take on it. I thought it was pretty good, but let's see what you have to say.
Well, first of all, I think it's a really pretty car, inside and out. It's a car. You know,
Les
you know what
Jackson's
those are.
review. It's a car.
It's a car. So long wheelbase, and this is a Sonata. This is not, the high end.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Sonata, and it's very, very. The first thing you notice when you sit in it is just the seats are very, very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous outside visibility, which is extremely important that you don't get in a bunch of cars. This particular one, maybe it's the same one you had. They call it shimmering silver.
I did have a silver model. Yep.
And the interior's black, which I'm not that fond of, but that's okay. Okay, so what do you get? Well, first of all, it's a Hyundai, which means you get that fabulous warranty and tremendous reliability. Inside, and that's where you can see, you'll be able to see on Facebook the interior shot.
Yep, we've got some shots
once Facebook gets it up there, and all kinds of safety equipment, as you might expect. This is all standard.
Okay.
And blind spot collision avoidance, blind spot rearview mirror, the bird's eye view backup camera system, which I believe all vehicles should be required to have.
Oh, I agree.
And of course, it's automatic braking. So if you're backing up and something crosses your path, it'll stop. Of course, forward automatic braking. Intelligent cruise control, which is the easiest control for that I have ever used.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little counterintuitive. And
that's right, especially when you're setting distance between you and the vehicle ahead. This is so simple.
Yep.
And all of it's on a heads-up display, which is even nicer. Because I love heads-up display, as you well know.
I like them when they're projected on the windshield. I'm not a fan when it's that little piece of plastic that pops up out of the dash.
No, I don't like that. But this is projected on the windshield, very subtle. It's an around view monitor with rear parking sensors, all of that stuff. But one of the greatest things is the blind spot detection is in the side mirrors, as you might expect, but also right in front of you, the instruments, which are round instruments, speedometer, tachometer. When you're changing lanes, it actually, that instrument on that side turns to a video camera, and it's looking right at the back of the car going backwards, looking at the lane, and you can see if there's anything in your blind spot. It's just a brilliant idea.
Yeah, definitely a great idea.
And, I would buy the car just for that.
Right. You wonder why that's not on more vehicles. It just seems like
I think it will be.
just a smart idea.
It's because remember, eventually side view mirrors are going to be video cameras.
Yeah, they're so big right now, and you won't need it.
Yeah.
And it'll be projected on the side glass, probably.
That's right. So, it is a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely seamless. You don't realize that the gas engine is on or the electric motor is running the car separately. Very, very nice ride characteristics. We have 3 ride settings. There's sport, which means no suspension.
I don't think it was that dramatic.
It's pretty harsh.
Mm-hmm.
And then normal, and then eco.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like off road or whatever. 17-inch wheels, which I believe are reasonable wheels, because when you get bigger than that, you get low profile tires, which tend to get really harsh.
Mm-hmm.
LED headlights, of course.
Yep,
because of the safety.
Safety and saves energy too.
That's right. The screen is very nicely integrated on the dash. It's kind of at the top of the dash, but it's very well integrated. It's not sticking up in your face like still a few vehicles are doing.
We should talk about the roof. I mean, the whole thing is a solar
panoramic full length moon roof, and that is also a solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure it's about 2 square meters, and you get about 100 watts per square meter on a sunny day. So 200 watts, 12 volts, 10 amps. You could run quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, I think it adds about 3 or 4 miles a day to the.
Yeah,
which is fine. It's free, and I thought it looked cool too. I thought it looked
it does
high-tech.
look cool.
Yeah,
it's just, and it's very nicely integrated. It's the kind of car that you sit in and drive, and every time you're in it, you notice something new, some new feature.
Yeah.
And just everything, like the HVAC system is the auto, which we always use. It just seems to instantly know that the weather's changed, and suddenly it needs a little bit of air conditioning or heat.
So how about price and MPG?
Well, I tell you, MPG is 51 highway, 45 city.
Wow.
And the price, let me get it in real quick, is $35,692.
Not bad. Not bad at all. That's a lot of mileage for a big car. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control Radio. I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road. Cruise Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information.